Hey there, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be showing you how I made this Boulder Town alleyway from Honkai Star Rail. Boulder Town is the primary settlement of Billabog's underworld, and it's quite possibly one of my favourite locations in the game. Between the overall story and the feel of the town, I quickly found myself wanting to make a small diorama of it. Or perhaps more specifically, one of its small cramped alleyways, a far cry from the pristine image of Billabog's overworld. I already had the perfect vessel in mind. This overpriced T-Tin's interior will make a perfect base. It's already primed, I just have to dump out the foam foliage that I put in there earlier. I start by making sure to forget to film me making the base of the diorama, and instead I film the making of the floor sections. I make a small set of stairs off camera and then glue that onto the diorama. I glue down the other floor section, making sure to give it some free weathering, and then cover the entire floor section with goop. I glue some more foam together and then glue it to the back of the diorama to create a fake wall. I then glue a piece of redundant cardboard to the front of the diorama. I then cut up and detail some more foam to look like stone pillars. These then get glued to the walls of the diorama. Then, using cardboard, I use it to add more detail to the walls. All I was trying to do here was break up the blank spaces. I glue some pieces of cardboard together to make the door that sits at the very back of the diorama, and then make a simple beam by cutting up a bamboo skewer and then gluing it to the top of the diorama. I make a better cardboard frame off camera that I totally didn't immediately ruin, and glue it to the front of the diorama. A quick check to make sure everything still fits together, and then I use my pencil to score in some details into the foam. I then use a brush-on primer on all of the cardboard bits. This will seal them from the spray primer that I'm about to use. One coat of spray primer later, and I realised that I made a mistake. Because I didn't think to seal the foam, the primer ate away at it. The good news is the diorama survived, although the stone pillars that I put so much effort into didn't. The primer ended up adding far more texture to the walls than I had planned, but that's okay, it's just free weathering. I cover up the more damaged parts of the diorama with more cardboard and then prime it to match. Painting was fairly simple this time around. The stony floor gets varying shades of grey. The walls get a white. The beam across the top gets a dry brush of gunmetal grey, and any of the metallic sections on the walls get a dry brush of copper. Everything but the metallic sections then gets a grimy black wash. Everything is then dry brushed with a lighter version of whatever colour was used originally. For the metallic sections, I tried to focus the paint in the centre, to mimic a more tarnished look. I then streaked some brown wash in select places across the model, to make it look more grimy. It was then time to move on to some of the finer details. I trace a vaguely cross-like shape onto cardboard, then after scoring some lines into it, I fold it over and glue it back onto itself. I then prime it black, and then give it a brown coat of paint. These are supposed to be wooden crates, and I ended up making 5 of them. I then move on to making some posters that we see in game. I figured this might be a nice touch around the diorama, even if they're a little bit hard to see at times. These get a brown wash and then a dry brush off screen to help age them. I then decided to add a little bed to the diorama. To do this, I took a strip of cardboard, folded one corner down on itself, and then stained it brown. After a quick dry brush, everything was ready for assembly. From there it's just a case of assembling all the various parts. I even added in some additional detritus to help sell the look of a dilapidated town. With that, roll the beauty shots. Thank you for watching. Honkai has a lot of environments that I'm excited to make as dioramas in the future, and I'm very much looking forward to making said dioramas. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, have a good one.